Okay, hi guys, today we are going to see how to make this app. So this is basically a simple image cropper app which can be used in various purposes like for image cropping or for dog scanner, and it can be used in dog scanner app. We are going to create a similar functionality which is present in Camscanner app. So here you can see I have rotated, and once I click on this pen button, so we are diverted back to that screen. Here the image is rotated and cropped and scaled. Okay, so we are going to use this repo which edits the image or crops the image, we can say, and resizes it using OpenCV. So this is basically a plugin. This is basically a fork from Flutter's simple edge detection. So here it is he has its own original repo. So now I have added some extra features like feature of rotation and I have added some isolates so that the runtime optimizations can be made, and it can reduce the time of users, the processing time, which will be very helpful while creating the app. So I will put this link. I will put the link to this in the description below. Okay, so once after we have cloned this repo, so what we have to do is we have to download the zip files from OpenCV's official website, and the version will be 4.4.0. So once we do that, so we have to download both the zips for iOS and Android. And from iOS version, we have to directly place include.opencv2 in root folder as well as the iOS folder. So here you can see opencv2.framework, and here there is include.opencv2. So there is a tutorial to how to set up this repo for there is official website for it and all, and there are some guidelines on repo also, so you can follow them. So here you can see it is source.me. Here there is jni libs, and here there are the OpenCV files for specific device format. So once you do that, so I suggest you to run this repo once so that it generates its own file and the CMake files start working, and it will be very easy for you, or I can say it will never create further problems for you for using it for development. So we have to change Gradle to 3.5.2 so that this plugin works. So now I have created the basic setup here. As you can see, I have changed the Android Gradle. Here you have to change the Android level Gradle. So in Android folder, build.gradle, here you have to change these details. So now I have created a basic project. So here you can see we have created a utils folder and two screens. Cropper 1 is empty, selection 1. I have created a basic selection screen here, as you can see on the screen, and I have created a util to pick image. So here you can see I have created a pick image function which will take the source from user or from me actually, and it will return us the path in format of string. So in pubspec.yaml we have imported image picker and we have imported simple edge detection. So to import simple edge detection, you have to direct it to the file or to the location where you have cloned the repo and set it up all the things. So now while importing it, be alert. So for you it might be Flutter simple edge detection. For me it's different because I have initially changed the time when I was working initially with it. So now we are going to create a selection screen. So it is the same screen which we saw earlier. Okay, so I just modify it a bit, let center tile make it true. so that it just look alike the one we created. So we need to create action. So now there, I think the mouse icon button, and what we have to do is we have to select icon. So icons dot image, and then on pressed function. So now when user clicks the button, so now we are going to show him a dialog box. So the content will be content on text, sorry. The header will be context. So now we are going to return a alert dialog. So the title will be text, select image again, and this is just the same thing which we were keeping up in the title. So in content there will be a single child scroll view, as there will be two options there. So in child you can see we are using list body. There are two children to it, both we are using just edit toys here. So let's just do it now. So now they have child like just text, selected from gallery. Okay, so what we are going to do is on tab, we have to set on tab as async, because while selecting the image it will take some time. So path is equal to wait the image source dot gallery, and then we have to set state here, because we need to change we have to notify to the Flutter tree, we can say something like that it is called, and that the path variable has changed. So once we do that, we have to just pop it up. So similar thing we are going to do with the another child. For it will be for another method, so the child will be camera, and similarly I am just copy pasting it now. Here image source will be camera. So once we have done that, let's just check it once. Okay, we will check it afterwards once we are done with creating body. So body, so if path is not equal to null, we are going to show the image. So scroll view, then center. So this, okay, so the center and single child scroll view is for sometimes after the cropping, after you crop the image, what happens is it just kind of occupies whole screen, and you can't find any button or the button which we placed beneath the image. So here image dot file path. So once we have done it, so we are going to, okay, so we have to import file. So yeah, it is from .io. Is there any kind of error here? Okay, so I think it should be simple. Okay, so now we are going to add a text button to it. Actually, okay, so once we are done with it and pressed, we are going to navigate it. So let me just create a basic architecture for it. Image cropper. Sorry if I spell it wrong, just change it on your side. Or if you face any errors, you can just put it in comment section, and I will look upon it, and I will guide you, or I will make another video, or some changes will be made, so there is no need to worry. So path is not equal to null, so final, actually here we don't need that. So navigator dot push context image crop. Okay, sorry, this should be inside material page route. Okay, so I think it's right. So there was kind of import error. I think there is one more error generated now because of some reasons. What is happening? Okay, so I understand now. So in case if image is not present there, we are going to return a container whose width will be double dot infinity. It will just occupy the screen. Okay, so that was the error here. So now one more thing, we have to again go back to the image cropper, and what we have to do is we have to here bring one more variable, final pict file image file, and okay, so we are going to import this, and again, so there will be some constructor creation. So once you do that, so we are going to do this because we have to pass the path to the next route so that we can work with the image there. So the image path will be picked image file and obviously path. So, so I think is okay. I think the child is missing here. So for child we will write text and next. So let's just check how it's working. So okay, this is not looking good. Just have clicked on galleries. Yeah. So here it is. Quite good until now. So okay, so it's not a point of worry. The screen was black because it was just because of empty container. So I think we should make it a little bit beautiful. Here, okay. So what we can do is we can add a size box. Whose height will be 20.0. So let's just try it again. Okay, so now it looks more beautiful. So now we are done with this. Okay guys, so now we are done with the image selection screen. There it is. So everything is done now. So now we are heading to image cropper screen. So now here I have made some basic imports like async, IO, UI as UI, and a simple UI and a material. Flutter material import. Okay, it is repeated, so we can remove this. And image picker is imported. The big image one. Yeah. Again, the edge detection, simple edge detection library is imported, and here this is basic setup which we created last time. So now we are going to scaffold replace container with scaffold. So now let's add a bar. Let's add a title, text, dog scanner. Let's make it a center tile. Then let's head to the body now. Now in body we are going to create, or we are going to use a custom paint so that we can draw image on a canvas, on a Flutter canvas. So to do so we are going to create our own custom painter. So let me just create this build image function, and if image is loaded. Okay, so before that we have to create some basic variables here. First one is list of offsets, and these offsets are the edges or the red dots which we saw in our intro video. This is crop image bool, so it is just an indication if we have to start with the procedure or not. Here it is, int touched is equal to -1. So this will just refer to the index of the red spot which we have touched or which is currently in interaction. So this is image which will be used for drawing. Bool is image loaded.
So now what we are going to do is, as image takes time for processing or even though passing through the screens and all those things, so now I have created a kind of async function. Okay, I think there is, yeah, there is a spelling typo. Yeah, so this is a variable which will be storing the amount of rotation. So is image loaded is used for, we can uh, is used to indicate that is image successfully loaded, or we can use some data of image like height and width, which we are going to use now. So to build image, if image is loaded, you will see in a few seconds that how we are going to load the image. So no worries, return center, then rotated box. So rotated box is obviously used for controlling the rotation. And okay, quaternions, here we are going to pass the rotation variable, and here the child will be fitted box. Further, sized box. So this is the sized box and fitted box are used as to fit the image in to full screen. So we have to convert this to double, again width to image dot width dot to double. So here we are using, just like now we saw that we are using some features of image, so we have to take care that is image already loaded. So now we are going to use custom paint. So for that we have to create our own painter so that we can paint the image on the screen. So now, while creating the custom painter, I am going to create the custom painter according to the end product, means the way we are going to use it at end. I'm not making it, or I'm not typing the code as like a beginner kind of thing. Okay, I think, yeah, there are some typos. Yeah, so let's just create those two override functions now, missing overrides. Yeah, I think this is good. So the variables are image, the image which we are going to paint now. Then height. The height will be useful for scaling of those red dot because the size of image changes. So we have to scale the size of those red dots or the points, touch points we can say. And final build context. So these are some other variables which you will see now, and where are these used. So yeah, these are just variables. They don't need to be imported. We have to define them. 5686 and final list offset. Oh my god. Okay. Offset list. So now we are going to create a constructor for it. So this dot image comma this dot offset list, this dot height, and this dot crop. So actually the height, or you can use width for reference also, both the way it is accepted, but I supposingly prefer height because I thought height will be, as per my testing, I found out that height is much more better point to use. So now let's just start drawing with canvas. Let's just initially draw image here, image. So we have to start from new, offset from 0.0. We have to start to draw the image. These are basically the initial points from where you want to start drawing of the image. Okay. So this is just a blank constructor, you don't need to do anything. So now if we run this, let's just check this out if it's working. Okay. So I think majority of changes are done this way. It just took the build from start. Okay. I think it wasn't running. So now if we check our image section, so it should work now. Okay, it's still not okay. So we have to use this and we have to return this. So we haven't used this upside. So first of all, we have to change this. We have to change this to return true, and we have to use this here. My image painter image is image. Okay, so yeah, it's obviously not going to run now because we haven't initialized the image. So we will do it at end only after doing all those things. So let's just create the rest of logic. So okay, let's just go up and create all those image things so that once at least we can check if image is working perfectly or not. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create another function which will be called init. It will return nothing, null. Init async and image, it will set image is equal to await load image. Okay, so we have to create this load image now. Load image, which will take a file as a input, widget dot image file dot path, and we are going to read byte sync. So we are passing uint list. Now we have to create the load image function. So okay, here in load image function we are going to return ui dot image, and here we are going to take the list of int. Basically this is image only, this is representation of image in another format. So final completer, so this kinds of returns the promise. So once the image gets loaded, the completer sends the image data, otherwise it sends a promise that once it will be done we can access the image. So ui.decode image from list, so here it is image, and once the ui.image g is done, okay, be aware of typos here. So set state image is image loaded, yeah, it will be loaded is equal to true, and return completer dot complete. So this is when the function is done, and then we are going to return the promise here that it will do its job. So if the image is loaded, so we can see this. In case if image is not loaded, what we are going to do is we have to return center child text and loading. So now let's just check. I think it should work now. Okay, everything seems good. So let's just try again. Okay. So it's loading, it's taking too much time, I think. It should load by now. Okay, so we haven't called the init function, that's the reason why it's not working. So init state. So what we have to do is we have to call the init function and init state the time when whole state widget will be widget tree will be building. So I think why it's not able to overwrite. Let's just check is something wrong. Init state. Init state. So basically this is override. So at the rate override. So once the super.init state is called, we can call init now. Now let's just check it once. Okay, so now it's working. So here we can see the image is drawn at the center. So now what we are going to do is once the image is loaded, so we are going to now call another function which will kind of load whole things. So now I have point list dot length. So this is basically to check if it is empty. If it's not empty, then it's not, it doesn't make any point to call that function. So now we are going to call the function to fill the point list with those 8 points as we have seen. So we are going to write this as uh, points point list, or we can call it as open cropper. So you can call any way, any name you can give it to that. So we have to open cropper. This will be a async function. So here we have to get the list of offsets. So basically this list is equal to await points. So now here I have created one, I am asking for one function points. So now what point does is, so here you can do two things. You can use the age detection offered by this package, or you can just get the width and height of the image and just add a little bit of offset. So that's what I am going to do right now. In case you want to get the edges, so what you have to do is edge detector dot dot process image. Okay, it's not process image. Process image is to crop. Yeah, so it's detect image, and here you have to pass the path. So once you pass the path, so over here for as it is widget dot image file dot path. So once you do this, you will get a result. So now what you have to do is you have to multiply each we can say offset with the y-axis with height and z-axis or x-axis with uh, width, so that it just scales down. So what this package does is it scales whole image down to uh, width and height of 1, and then it crops the image. So we have to take care of it. So if you want to use the edge detection feature, so you can use this and you can get the list. You have to multiply both height and width value to respective x and y, so y and x, and you can then return this list to the upper function, and then we will do the rest of things there. And but now as such I'm not doing that. I'm just creating ops. I'm just uh, covering the main body of image, or we can say I'm just creating kind of a cover. So offset 10 into, so this is basically just a little bit space which will bring the image inside media query dot off context. So this is basically so that the red dots don't just be at the absolute edge of the image. We should have some space to work there. So that's where they are. I'm just multiplying it with 10 kind of thing. Okay, typos alert. Image dot height dot sorry, height divided by media query dot of context dot size. Sorry, of context dot size dot width. Similarly, you have to do it for all the edges, all the points. So this was for the top right point. Then what is, so I'm just not typing it again because that is a bit lengthy job. So what I'm going to do is I have already calculated these values. So I'm just copy and pasting it here. So here these are the values. Here you can pause the video and see those values. And once you are done with this, you have to return the list. Now once we are done with that, we have to get back to the open cropper function. So set top left, top right, right, bottom left. So now we have to set state top left is equal to list of 0. So just you have to remember which point you referred there. Similarly we can say top right to list 1, bottom right to list 2, and list index 2, and bottom left to list index 3. So now we have to we have just set this state so that we can refer these points. So now we have to create 8 points, and which we have to add them on point list. So now in point list, initially we are going in, I can say, clockwise fashion from top left point. So we are going to add TL, then we have to add point list dot add TL plus tr by 2, then again point list dot add tr. So in similar fashion, now next will be tr plus br by 2. So again copy paste so that it just don't get too lengthy. Okay, so what's the name here? Points list. I think some error is caused. Let me check. Yeah, okay. So points list. You don't need to take care of it. I just did because initially it was set up in that way. So now what we have to do is we have to pass this points list in our painter. So yeah, so here it's offset list, and now we are going to call it as a points list. So now once we do that, what we can do is we have to go back to our painter section, and we have to create a system for it. So if offset list dot length is greater than 0 and not crop. So if we not have to crop till now, so canvas dot draw points point mode dot polygon. So now we are going to create a polygon which will take these points. So offset list. Again, you have to be aware of typos here because I do a lot of typos. And paint constructor. So here we are going to we need a stroke width of 3.0. It is quite enough so that users can see those. Color will be colors dot white, so you can create of any color you wish. I'm now going just according to the previous mode. So stroke dot round stroke cap dot round. So you can again play around here by making it square, round, any way you wish. So what it does, it just creates those red dots in the fashion you want. So now canvas dot draw line offset list of 0, and then offset list dot set dot offset list dot length -1. You can refer directly to point 7. So basically here we are going to make 8, but you can directly refer it as a 7, but I am just making it in case in future if someone wants to change the number, so you don't have to again worry about it. Stroke width is again 3.0, then color colors dot white and then stroke cap dot round, and then canvas dot draw points, points. Okay, so now this will just make that those red points. So here set list. This the initial draw was draw point mode dot polygon, so that will just create that line, and here it will join those in 2 points. So in draw points it don't join the first and last point. So here we have drawn a line so that it just connect first and last point. I think I have missed something here. I just feel like opening. And here again we have to give that paint function, paint constructor we can say, paint, then again stroke width is equal to 20 into, so these are just number which I found by hit and try. You can just use, you can again experiment with them and find which one is suitable for you. So here we used, in above point we used height so that we can scale those red points according to our wish. Colors dot right, and I think we are ready now. So let's just check what happens. Okay, yeah, initially that wasn't called, so we have to try out that again. Some error is being caused. Boolean expression must not be null. So image copper 96, 28. Okay, so we have to pass that crop variable because we checked that crop in our painter. So we were just checking with that point. So we have to pass that point here. Just give me a second. So let's just pass context because we use context also. Then we used height. So media query dot of context dot size dot height, or you can use width dot to int, then crop is crop image. So let's just make it a little bit easy to view. Let's just add some indents. Okay, so now it should be visible. Okay, so now here you can see there are these are red dots. So now they are not moving because we haven't created the functions which will redraw them. So now what we are going to do is we are going to use gesture detector in this custom paint. Okay, so child is gesture detector on pen start. On pen start, what we need is details which will be passed as argument in the function. So what we require is we need to get the index which was touched. So for that we need to create a function closest offset, and we have to pass the details dot local position. So now we have to create this function here. So it will be int closest offset, and what we are going to do is we are going to iterate through all the points here in list, and it's list dot length, and if the distance of the point where we are and the click, so this returns a vector which whose distance we can get is less than 20.0 into image dot width dot to double divided by media query dot context dot size dot width. If it's so we are going to return that index, else we are going to return -1, showing that there is no point which is touched here. So after initial touch we get the index. So after user starts to move the point, offset click is equal to offset. You can just do one, you can directly use details dot local position instead of creating new offset. I'm just creating it because it is better to do so directly referring to that point. In case if you want to make some changes, you can do without disturbing the you can do it without disturbing the values in the details. So we have to set state, and if touched is not equal to -1. So if there is a point which is been touched, and if touched not to is not equal to 0, that means it's not the point which is, it's not one of the edge points, it is one of the center points. So if is it so what we are going to do is offset difference is equal to point paste touched minus click offset back is equal to, instead of typing what I'm going to do is I'm just copying and pasting, and I will explain you what I have done it there. So Let me just bring it here now. So here what we are going to do is we are calculating the difference. What is the difference between them? Then what we are going to do is we are going to refer to the back and for the previous and the next indexed, and we are going to calculate the difference. So we are going to add the difference. So this is the forward difference and this is the backward difference, what the difference must be. And here we are going to check if that point is inside the given dimensions, means if the point is inside the image dimensions, then we are going to make these changes. And it is done similarly for the, yeah, this is for back one, the backwards point, and here this is for forward one, again similar for f back and f forward. So here that point is removed and again inserted with the new correct value. So yeah, so once we are done with this, now if the point is one of those which are the edge points, so what we are going to do is, for that it's a little bit easy now. We are going to refer the next and backward to them. So the f forward was the next of the forward, so we have to change those so that it just move accordingly. So here you can see forward is +1 to it, and f forward is +2 to the touch point. So that is the tough case, a little bit to think. And here in case it is one of those edge points, so what we have to do is -1 and +1, and we are going to take those values and we are going to average the this difference accordingly, or we are going to make divide by 2 or whatever you find better for your mathematics end. So I found this better. What I did is I just calculated and divided the difference. So here you can see I have added the difference and average. I took the average of those and I have feed this back to those indexes. So in case that is done, so else f click dot dx is greater than 0, so this whole logic was for, we can say, okay, so the whole above logic was for the front back and front forward and all those points. But now in case if now we have to update the point which we touched, so what we are going to do is we are going to remove that point and insert the point which we found touched. So here you can see we remove the previous point and we have added directly the click value, the points where it was actually touched. So now, yeah, okay, yeah. So now on pan end, we are just going to make touched equal to -1. So let's just try this now. I think it should work. Okay, so here you can see what we have done is, if this is not even, so we can see all these points are moving. So this one was even, so only front and back was moving. But in case, see, the front forward and backward, back and forward. All these 5 points are moving. So we have made this now. So now what we can do is we can make the make the we can code for cropping the image now. So let's just do it. So now widget, I can decide. Basically, you can call it anything. I just time of working. I just call it. I can decide it. So returns icon button icon start edit. And what we have to do is we have to set state crop image is equal to true. And then we have to process and pop the image. Means pop the screen, and we have to get back to the original image or original screen where we can see the changes. So void process pop. So you can just what you can do is you don't use crop image, but I have used because this project is further going to be used, or this going to be a part of a series where I will demonstrate how to make a complete dog scanner app. So for that you can subscribe. And I have used I'm planning, or I'm going to use the crop image variable there. So in case if you don't find it useful, you can just directly not define it. You can just directly call process pop. So in process pop, what we are going to do is we are going to convert the point list. Again, if you remember, I told you that the package which we use take only 4 points as a reference. So we have to get them back to all those 4 points here. So index is equal to I into 2 points raised to index is equal to new offset. So here we are going to scale that offset by dividing whole width, the whole that offset by width, and the y point by height. Okay. Index is equal to I by 2, I into 2, so that it just refers to those edge points. So now once you have done with this, we can get the edge detection result. Edge detection result is equal to new edge detection result, and we are going to pass top left as points list of 0. Similarly, all those points again here. So here it will be 2, here it will be 4, and here it will be okay. So bottom left is sorry, it is 6, and bottom right is 4. I'm just making it. I'm going to bring all this in one. I'm going to break down into multiple lines now. Okay, so here you can see what we have done. So now once you are done with this, we are going to pass this to the cropper. Each detector to process image. Sorry. So widget dot image file dot path. Here is detection result you can see, and here rot. So we are going to pass the rotation here, and what's the issue? Okay, so here what we are going to do is we are going to multiply it with 90 degree because it takes angle, and we are going to multiply it with -1 because OpenCV considers those axes in the similar manner. So here it will be 90.0 as OpenCV considers it to be. Then when it is done, okay, just let me just bring it to the next line. So the moment we are done with this, we are going to clean all these sachets now, all the data stored. Image sachet dot clear live images, image sachet dot clear, so that it don't take extra space here in memory, and is image loaded is equal to false, and then we are going to pop this out. Navigator dot and we are going to pop this out, and let's just check what happens. Okay, so yeah, I haven't used this. I can decide that. So in app bar you have to call actions, and here you have to call icon decider. So we have to reset it again, I think. Okay, I think it has been refreshed. So let's get to it. So you can just crop it and click on this pen. Yeah, see, the image is cropped now. So now what we are going to do is we are going to add some we are going to write some code that it will help us to create the rotation feature. So let's just add bottom nav bar, and we'll call it rotate, and widget rotate. What we are going to do is we are going to return bottom app bar whose child will be a row. So in general what we are going to do is we are going to add a icon button with icon icons dot rotate left, and here we are going to set state rotation minus minus. Similarly, we are going to do this for the right one. Here we are going to set rotation plus plus, and here we are going to do rotate right. So let's just check this now. Okay, there's some issues. Is it so? Okay, no. So let's just check this now. Once we pass this, we can rotate this, we can crop this out. Yeah, so we are getting the cropped and rotated one. So now in case if you find this video useful, give it a like if you and share this in as many platforms as you can. Just like Stack Overflow or any other platforms there they are present or someone who requires this, and like and subscribe to the channel for similar content.